just around you. So, speaking of those officials, one thing we do every week here is we talk about the VAR decisions of the week, and we touched on one already. The kind of first and major talking point of the week, obviously, being the possible red card for Salah or Bailey against Salah. I know you said you haven't gone back and looked at it. Personally, I think it gets bailed out by the fact that Nunez makes the goal. And
Yes.
after that Champions League final, I think it was what? I think it was Barcelona Arsenal in like '06 or whatever, where the goalie gets sent off, but the Barcelona guy scores the goal. And later on, the ref says, if I could do it all over again, I would have just booked him. And then the big match law people are like, well, that would have been the wrong decision. And then they changed the law because of
Yes.
it for the like double jeopardy. So do you have an issue with that rule outside of it being David Coote and looking like he was inept as usual? Do you think in that instance that natural justice happened? Liverpool had a chance to score. Mo gets taken down. Darwin takes the ball off, beats the keeper, scores a goal. You're up 1-0. Everything's fair. Or do you think there should be some form of retroaction or retribution there to the player and or to the team as far as Villa goes?
There should be. I understand the double jeopardy thing, and I'm okay with that. I get that because yes, it is a double whammy, and I understand that. Okay, I'll buy that, but I feel like we do this a lot. I actually talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we played against Chelsea, where I can't remember who it was. Why did I forget the kid's name? The right back,
Gusto
Chelsea's
or
right back.
Gusto or Cucurella?
No, the right back. Oh, what the hell?
Reese
Always
James?
injured. God damn it.
Reese James.
Yes. He trips Mo. Mo keeps going. Like he basically trips Mo on purpose. Mo keeps going and the play goes on. See, I feel like when you have somebody pulling you, it should be a yellow card. I like the fact that you're playing advantage and you're
Yep.
letting the game keep going, but you got to come back and give that yellow card because that is because you tried and that's what you sucked at basically doing an intentional foul, but you attempted an intentional foul. That's almost like swinging at somebody but missing. Doesn't matter. You swung at him already. So you were trying to punch him. The fact that you did not connect does not excuse you swinging at that person. So that's why I thought, I know the red card would have been harsh, but it should have been gone back and been a yellow card. But then again, I guess if it wasn't calling it a foul, I wasn't going to show it a yellow card. And that's not
And
going to
I
go
think
to VAR just because we scored.
that was what the primary issue was that because he didn't call it anything originally on the field, he couldn't really go back and do anything with VAR. What about the Kanate potential penalty on Watkins? I thought this was actually good refereeing by Coote.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a penalty. That's basically having been there. That's a little dude against a Konate, is what it is. Honestly, if any call that I felt out of that game went our way, and I did not see it going our way, is the Bradley pull.
I was just going to ask
Because
you.
when
So
we
if
were watching that, we were watching in a coffee shop with Layla on the phone in Milwaukee, and we were like, ugh, that's going to come back. Like the moment it went and they were checking it, I'm like, that's going to be a penalty. Because he is pulling, and I realize both of them are pulling each other and stuff, but he's pulling to the point where he spins the guy, and the ball is going there. If the ball was going to the back post and they're tussling around in the front post, that's fine. But the ball is gone there. We're clearing it because that guy is suddenly out of the picture because he's spun out of it. I was honestly shocked that did not come back as a penalty from the review.
Yeah, that one surprised me a little bit, I'll be honest. I didn't think the Kanate one, I thought it's funny. I understood why it wasn't a penalty. Because to your point, it's a big guy running into a little guy. And then, of course, Coote does the Coote thing and gives the foul on Watkins. Doesn't call embellishment, doesn't call a dive.
I didn't
Just
get
just gives him a foul. And I'm like, what's going on? The best thing he could have done, the ball is being rolled back to Kelleher. Just let play go on.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he loses me more than even his stupid face or his terrible. Like,
We just talked about this.
I can get past, I can get past the foul with Virgil against Pickford. Because I think in that moment you can make that mistake. And then when it was weird, it was COVID times, there was no one in the crowd. I do think those things actually affected match officials at times. Like things impacted how officials responded with the sound and the noise and then just dealing with things. Like, and I'm not making an excuse because I think it should have been a red card. But ultimately, when you look at how he handles himself on the pitch, 9 times out of 10, I feel like he gets every 50-50 call wrong. And that to me is a person who doesn't have confidence or self-conviction in like what they're actually seeing, and referees with too much emotion. And maybe it's that type of emotion that allows you to get pinned up at 4 a.m. on a couch with a guy who's not really your mate and say shit the way he did on camera.
I was gonna say, does it make more sense now that something? I mean, especially if this comes out to be a bigger deal, that he is overthinking some of the decisions he's making on the pitch. Because I mean, I talk about this on our shows about like the Turkish league and stuff like that. There's so much going on up there. It's not
Yep.
just refereeing. I mean, if you're refereeing, and especially you got to make quick decisions on the spot. You got to have a clear mind. If you don't have a clear mind and you're rethinking everything, that's when you start screwing things up, because you're not only that, you're late making decisions, you're slow making decisions and stuff. So it is going to be really interesting, man, what else comes out of this. I know it's everywhere right now and some of the information is not very accurate, but like I say, I really think this is something that PGMO has to get it done and over with during this international break. So within a week, by the time you guys record this next week, I think we're going to know a lot more about this whole ordeal.
So I want to quickly ask you about this one, then we'll go on to look at the matches and the table because it was just such a big week in the Premier League. But the Crystal Palace match, the second goal, Emile Smith Rowe scores. Palace is extremely upset about this decision. Their stadium is basically, they claim, the worst in the Premier League when it comes to offside VAR decisions, which is where we had that Leicester thing a few weeks back where they claimed that the guy was onside and it was proved to be offside because of the angles of how Selhurst Park is built. So this is also kind of feeding into the semi-automated offsides question, which is why I wanted to get to it quickly. We still don't have semi-automated offsides because the league claims they can't work out the kinks. Yet we had a major issue this weekend in Spain where Barcelona lost a match where it's basically been proven that Lewandowski was onside. But semi-automated offside showed him as offside. Do you believe that England will at any point this season have that technology in place? And do you think they should, seeing to the fact that we're 11 match weeks in and we haven't used it yet? Should they just scrap it and say, let's wait till next August and start it when all 38 match weeks are utilizing it?
If you asked me like 3-4 weeks ago, I would have said like, oh, in January or something like that, they might add it and be ready to go. But especially with that Barcelona thing, and there's a couple of other instances like in like the Dutch league and stuff like that, I feel like they're gonna be like, nope, this thing is not ready yet. Should they add it? Yes, because I think a slightly faulty line is a lot better than do like Oliver or Coote trying to freaking like move it with the mouse and setting the line. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I have more faith in a system that occasionally has a glitch than, the human version of glitch, like Oliver running like the air over there. So,
Yeah, I have more faith in your automated glitches than
yep,
the ones that you program yourself by giving us the English PGMOL to run
exactly.
this.
Exactly.
Let's take a look at the Premier League.